Right now, you know exactly where you are, down to a few feet, without thinking about it, without even asking. You are one of the first humans in history who cannot get lost. For 300,000 years, we didn't have that. And getting it wrong didn't mean arriving late. It meant ships full of people sailing off the edge of their own knowledge and never coming back. One bad guess killed 2,000 sailors in a single night. And we'll get to that night. So let's run the tape backwards. From the arrow floating on your windshield, all the way back to the very first thing a human ever used to find the way home. Because when you watch it in reverse, you'll notice something strange. We've been solving this problem the exact same way the entire time. Start with today. Navigation isn't a skill anymore, it's a layer on reality. Put on a pair of AR glasses and directions are literally drawn onto the world. Arrows on the sidewalk to labels floating on buildings. Your car projects the route onto the windshield. Your phone speaker says it's so loud you never even have to look at the map at all. Delivery drones, tractors, container ships, all steering themselves. All of it runs off the same invisible machine. About 30 satellites, 12,000 miles up, each carrying an atomic clock accurate to the billionth of a second. Your phone listens to 4 of them, compares the tiny differences and when their signal arrives, and then does the math. Where the answers overlap, that's you. Hold on to that part. By the way, the satellites don't know where you are. They only broadcast the time. Your position is calculated entirely from clocks. That's going to matter because 250 years ago, a carpenter bet his whole life on that exact idea, and the smartest people on Earth all laughed at him. But first, why is this military-grade system free on your phone? GPS wasn't built for you. It was built for missiles and submarines. The Pentagon project from the 1970s locked to the military. Then September 1st, 1983, Korean Airlines Flight 007, flying from Anchorage to Seoul, drifts off course. Its crew navigating through old systems, unaware they've wandered into Soviet airspace. A Soviet fighter shoots it down. 269 people died. 2 weeks later, President Reagan announces that GPS, once finished, will be open to the world, so that no airliner can ever be lost like that again. One catch. The military deliberately scrambled the civilian signal, keeping it fuzzy by a few hundred feet. Then, on one night in May in the year 2000, they switched the scrambling off. Overnight, every civilian GPS receiver on Earth got roughly 10 times more accurate. That's the moment the world was born. Turn-by-turn directions, ride-sharing, dating apps, food delivery, finding your parked car, all of it downstream in one switch flipped in the year 2000. But satellites are just the newest answer to a very old question. A question that used to be worth 20,000 pounds and thousands of lives. On October 22nd, 1707, a British fleet is sailing home in the fog after weeks at sea. The admiral's navigators compared their best guesses and agreed we're safely west of any land. They were wrong by dozens of miles. That night, 4 warships run onto the rocks of the Scilly Isles. Somewhere around 2,000 men drowned, one of the worst disasters in the British naval history. Not from battle, not from storm damage, but from not knowing where they were. Here's the maddening part. Sailors could already find their north-south position, latitude, easily. Measure the height of the sun at noon, done. It's the east-west position, longitude, that was unsolvable. And the reason is beautiful. The Earth spins. To know how far east or west you've gone, you need to know what the time is back home and compare it to the sun above you right now. Every 4 seconds of clock error is a mile of position error. And in 1707, no clock on Earth could survive a ship. Salt air, humidity, temperature swings, waves, pendulum clocks were useless at sea. So in 1714, Parliament did something desperate. It offered 20,000 pounds, millions in today's money, to anyone who could solve longitude. The greatest scientific minds in Europe went to work on the obvious answer, the stars. A self-taught carpenter went to work on the stupid answer, a better clock. His name was John Harrison. No university, no connections. He built precision clocks out of wood in a village workshop, and he spent over 40 years on one problem. The scientific establishment, the astronomer royal among them, was certain longitude would be solved with telescopes and lunar models, not machinery. To them, Harrison was a tradesman tinkering above his station. He built a sea clock, then a better one, then spent 19 years on a third, and then he did something nobody expected. He shrank the whole idea into a 5-inch watch. In 1761, that watch sailed to Jamaica, and after 81 days at sea, it was off by mere seconds. The prize board, stacked with the very astronomers he was competing against, refused to pay in full. They changed the rules, demanded new trials, and took his watch away. Harrison fought them into his 80s, until the king himself, George III, took his side, reportedly fuming. "By God, Harrison, I will see you righted." He got his money 3 years before he died. And here's the part you already know. Remember how your phone finds you? Satellites broadcast in nothing but time, and your position calculated from clocks. That's Harrison's idea. GPS is a fleet of flying Harrison clocks. The establishment laughed at a carpenter, and his answer is now 12,000 miles above your head, whispering the time into your pocket. But Harrison's clock only told sailors where they were. Something older told them which way, and it started as a magic trick. Around 2,000 years ago in Han Dynasty, China, fortune tellers carved spoons out of lodestone, naturally magnetic rock, and spun them on polished bronze. The handle always came to rest, pointing the same direction. For centuries, this was used for arranging buildings and telling fortunes, not travel. Then in around the year 1000, Chinese sailors did the world-changing thing. They magnetized the needle and floated it in a bowl of water and took it to sea. For the first time in history, humans could hold the direction in their hands, in the fog, in the storm, and at midnight. Within 2 centuries, the idea reached the Mediterranean and it detonated. The compass unlocked the edge of exploration. Columbus crossing the Atlantic, Magellan's crew rounding the entire planet, sailing on a needle, an hourglass, and educated guessing. And the compass never really went away. It just kept reinventing itself. When steel ships broke magnetic compasses, engineers built the gyro compass, a spinning wheel that finds the true north without a magnet at all. And today, there's a magnetic compass inside your phone right now. When the blue air on your map rotates as you turn, that's the 2,000-year-old idea shrunk onto a chip. Every navigation tool we've ever invented is still in there. We never threw anything away. We just made it smaller. Which leaves the deepest question. How did anyone navigate before instruments? Answer: better than you believe. 3,000 years ago, Polynesian voyagers began crossing the open Pacific. Thousands of miles of empty ocean in canoes with no compass, no clock, and no writing. They found Hawaii. They found Easter Island, a 15-mile speck and 64 million square miles of ocean. How? They memorized the compass made of stars, which ones rise where, in what order, season by season. They read the ocean itself, swell patterns bending around invisible islands, the flight paths of birds that sleep on land, the green tint of the underside of clouds over distant lagoons. Master navigators trained from childhood, holding the entire oceans in their hands. And they weren't the first. Phoenician traders hugged coastlines steering by the North Star. Desert travelers followed star paths between wells. The oldest surviving world map is pressed into a Babylonian clay tablet. And before maps, before boats, before any of it, the first humans walking out of Africa navigated by the only instruments that have never needed batteries. The sun by day and the stars by night. The sky was the first GPS. Fixed points high above you telling you where you are. Sound familiar? So to run the tape forward again and watch the same idea repeat. Humans navigate by points in the sky, then by a needle that points for us, then by a clock that carries home with you. And today, by atomic clocks bolted into artificial stars that we built ourselves and threw into the sky. 30,000 years of progress, and the method never actually changed. Look up, check the time, do the math. A Polynesian wayfinder and your phone are running the same program. Ours is just faster, and the story isn't over, because we're about to get lost again. There's no GPS around Mars. The engineers planning those missions are solving navigation the way it's always been solved, by pointing cameras at the stars. Wherever we go next, the first thing we'll do is what the first human did, look up. If you want the full story on the next world-changing thing, subscribe. New episode coming soon.